Hey guys, welcome back to Monday Matinee. Today, we're talking about the movie Presence. Presence is a 2024 American supernatural drama directed by Steven Soderbergh and released by Neon. Starring Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan, the film takes a unique approach by presenting the story entirely from the perspective of a ghost, or the presence, in a series of long, continuous takes. And while marketed as the scariest movie of the year, it's important to set expectations straight. This is not a horror movie. It's a slow burn family drama with supernatural elements, more haunting in tone than terrifying. It's a movie that might haunt your thoughts, but your nightmares? Not a chance. And that's a problem that I think Neon has as of late. Their marketing is setting them up for failure. They did the same thing with the movie Longlegs. People go in expecting one thing and get something entirely different. So the story centers on a fractured family of four moving into a suburban home inhabited by the presence, which observes their lives and interactions.
It's trying to figure you out. It's trying to connect to you.
We watch as cracks form in their relationships. Rebecca, Lucy Liu's character, the mother, she's caught up in some financial scheme, and she neglects her grieving daughter, Chloe, in favor of her arrogant swimmer son, Tyler. Tyler's ego could probably qualify as its own supporting character. He's a little douchey. Chloe, struggling with the death of her best friend, senses the presence and believes it to be her friend's ghost. And this presence quietly intervenes in key moments, from foiling Chloe's dangerous relationship with Tyler's friend Ryan, to trashing Tyler's room after his own morally questionable behavior. Even ghosts have a sense of justice, I guess. But ultimately, the film builds towards a bittersweet conclusion, revealing the presence's true identity and purpose in the family's story. Now, let's talk about the movie itself. The concept of shooting the film entirely from the ghost's perspective is fresh on paper, but in practice, it's a mixed bag. The use of long takes is impressive, but the floating camera effect falls apart when you notice the Steadicam operator's footsteps, especially during moments like climbing up and down the stairs. You get the little shakes and thuds and less of the effortless gliding. It's a bold gimmick, but kind of noticeable right off the bat, so I'm well aware that there's a camera operator. So the execution could have been a little bit better. Thematically, the movie feels closer to David Lowery's A Ghost Story, focusing on grief and familial fractures rather than scares. The haunting here is emotional rather than suspenseful, but the film doesn't dive deep enough to fully resonate. I wanted more impactful involvement from the ghost. It could move objects, but it never intervened in the way that I was expecting it to. Not as you would expect a ghost to do. We get a shake of a table here and a flicker of a light there. And production-wise, the movie feels a little cheap. And it was. Shot in a single location in Cranford, New Jersey, with a $2 million budget, it has the aesthetic of something made during COVID. Intimate, but sparse. And while I appreciate the ambition, the small scale I don't think really works in the movie's favor. And there's also some abrupt scene transitions that were also a little bit jarring. It might be a nitpick, and I know this kind of camera movement would be hard to transition, but just one thing I noticed. On the performance side, Lucy Liu gives a solid turn as Rebecca, though her character is written to be cold and unlikable. Unfortunately, the young actor playing the character Ryan is the weak link here. He delivers, for lack of a better word, cringeworthy performance that borders on unintentionally comedic. His dialogue in particular had the audience laughing in moments that weren't supposed to be funny, and that really undercut the movie's tone. The dialogue all around is kind of unnatural. But ultimately, Presence is more sad than scary, more concept than execution. I admire Soderbergh for experimenting with different genres, but this one didn't quite land for me. It's an interesting idea let down by clunky execution, lackluster writing, and some flat performances. And this movie was filmed in 2023, so it sat on the shelf for a while. For a letter grade, I'd give Presence a C-. It's worth watching for the unique premise, but don't go in expecting a horror movie or even a suspenseful one. Alright, for further viewing, if you like this movie but want something more engaging, check out The Others. It's a fantastic supernatural thriller with a similar eerie vibe and emotional depth. Plus, it sticks the landing with its twist. For another recommendation, as I mentioned earlier, try David Lowery's A Ghost Story. This is a more profound exploration of grief through a similarly slow burn, experimental lens. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content and see you in the next one.